One of the things I've been interested in for a very long time is the whole idea of leadership. And if you ask people what makes a great leader, chances are you're going to get a huge variety of different answers to that question. But there's a word that often crops up, and people talk about great leaders having charisma. Now, charisma is quite a hard thing to define. Some people say, well, I can't exactly define it, but I know it when I see it. It's something you've either got it or you haven't got it. So that's not always very helpful, is it? If you're wanting to become a better leader and people say, well, the best leaders have charisma, you can't instantly go, oh, okay, well, I'll just go off and do that then, because it isn't obvious how to be charismatic. And so this is something that I've paid attention to in different places and different situations with different leaders of different types over a number of years. And I came to a couple of conclusions. And one is about the structure of charisma and what do we actually mean by that. And the other thing is about how you develop it. So if you want to become a better leader and you want to be a charismatic leader, stay with me. So one of the things that I noticed about the leaders who are most charismatic, who are the ones that people really want to follow, the people who just seem to inspire others to go with them and to work with them and to follow their suggestions, they're the ones who are the most wholehearted about what they're doing. So in other words, they don't give off mixed messages. They don't say, yeah, I think this is really important, with that sort of questioning tone of voice. Their body language is lined up with what they're saying. They walk the talk. So they don't tell you something is important on one day and then do the opposite the next day. If they're going to change something, they explain that it's changed and explain why, rather than just letting you discover for yourself that the goalposts have now moved. So the people that I see as being the best leaders, the ones who are really, really charismatic and really engaging, are the ones who are wholehearted. And in NLP terms, we talk about personal congruence, which is kind of where everything lines up. So you're not giving mixed messages. There isn't kind of an element of doubt in what you're saying. There isn't a part of you that's sort of working against the overall plan. It's like you're really 100% behind the idea that you're putting forward. You're 100% behind the task, the purpose, and so on. Everything that you say to the team is all of a piece. But how do you get to that? And I've come to the conclusion that the way you get to that is you work on yourself. So some people think leadership is all about learning, how to treat other people in certain ways, how to set up meetings, how to craft a speech and so on. And yes, some of those things are important. But to really get that charisma, you have to work on yourself. And that's because that congruence, that wholeheartedness, comes from getting rid of your internal doubts. It comes from getting rid of those internal conflicts where, part of me wants to do this and part of me thinks it's not really a good idea and part of me wants to take a risk and part of me is scared to do it. All of those sorts of things, although you may never articulate them, people pick them up at a kind of unconscious level. So that all that stuff that's going on below the surface, although people may not be fully conscious of it and might not be able to tell you exactly what it is they've noticed, they still pick up on it. We all know when we watch politicians on the TV, we get a sense of whether somebody's telling us the whole truth or whether they really believe what they're saying or whether what they're saying is going to come to anything. We get a sense of that. And that applies to everybody. We're all much better at reading other people than most of us give ourselves credit for. So if you want to be a better leader, ironing out some of that self-doubt, getting rid of some of those inner conflicts, in fact, as many of them as you possibly can, is what will make you much more congruent personally. And that in its turn makes you a charismatic leader. So there you go. If you want to be a better leader, work on yourself.